What's up guys, Winter Clouds back again with another Shindo live video. Now today's video we're going to be going over every single Akuma in this game, showcasing them and ranking them in a tier list from worst to best. Now before we get into the video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys did, and it would help me a lot in the process. But let's hop right into the video. Alright guys, so to start off this video, we have the regular Akuma. This is the one that's like 1 out of 50 rarity, and it's probably, in my opinion, either the worst or second worst one on this list. I will give you guys the tier list, the exact tier list placements at the end of the video, but this is the first one, as you guys can see. I'm going to activate it real quick. All of the eyes throughout all the modes look the same through this, so it doesn't change. And you don't even get a Susanoo cage till C4. And this one also has a max of 1300, just something to note. So it's kind of a bit of a grind to get this one all the way to max, but it is pretty good. This isn't bad ever since they added the Susanoo to it. This is obviously the half Susanoo, and then this is the full Susanoo, which I already did a video on. But ever since they added the full Susanoo, this has gotten a lot better. I would say this could be tied with Obito Sharingan, because that is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst Bankai Sharingans, or Akumas, for combat purposes at least. But let's get into the moves. So the first one, and I don't have anything to show you guys this on, but the first one is just a copy style move. As you guys can see right here, copy style replication. Now this can't copy bloodlines, however it can copy elements, and I think some subjutsus. Overall, it's pretty trash. I mean, I definitely wouldn't use it. I would recommend mixing this with like some other bloodline to use both of them for combo sake, but that's the first move. Second move, it's just a genjutsu. Now again, it's alright. Like if this is all you had, instead of getting something like Bankai, Akuma, or Itachi, or some of the other ones, this obviously would do, but in my opinion, I think Tsukuyomi from Bankai Akuma is way better. And last but not least, we have the third move, which is a dodge, which while you have it activated, you're completely invulnerable to attacks. It's alright, but at the same time, every other Sharingan literally has a better auto dodge. Shisui's, Itachi's, both are better. But the Susanoo definitely makes up for it in this one. While it is lacking, like I said, it's now kind of decent because the Susanoo, the simple damage increase from the Susanoo is pretty good. And also, I mean, just look at this thing, it's a beast. Now I don't have any of the Susanoos for the other Sharingans, so when I'm showcasing that, I won't be able to show you guys it, but just keep in mind it's all the same as this one. There is no like stronger Susanoo for any of the other ones. They're all the same as this one, so just keep that in mind. But now let's get into the C-Spec, which is just a Materasu on multiple different targets. Q-Spec, it's just an attack. However, the Q-Spec does change depending on which weapon you have. I uploaded a video showing you guys how to customize this, and depending on the weapon you use, it'll change the Q-Spec. So if you have a bow, it'll be something different. If you have the double blade, it'll be something different. For right now, I just have the single sword, and it is that. So that's the first one on the list, guys. Let's get into the next one. Alright guys, the next one on this list is Bankai Akuma or Itachi Sharingan. Now this one, in my opinion, is commonly tied for the best out of the bunch, but honestly it all comes down to opinion at that point, because some people think Shisui's better, some people think this is better. But getting right into it, as you can see, activate it. First mode has the same eyes as the rest of them. Second mode changed, and then this one has the skeleton. C3 is the max, half Susanoo. And if I were to have the full Susanoo, you'd press C4. As you guys can see, I don't have it, but it'd be the same as the last Akuma. So this is what the half Susanoo looks for this one. Let's just go in the C-Spec right here. C-Spec's alright, 52k damage, hits multiple targets. It's that ceiling jutsu Itachi uses. Q-Spec, It's a teleportation, so this actually works from far distance. It's pretty good in PvP, to be honest. But let's get into the moveset now. So first move is an auto dodge move, and you can also use this as kind of like a fake out. So sometimes in arena mode, what I'll do is I'll go behind a tree, use that jutsu, go out, they'll be attacking the clone, and you teleport back to the place where you first started it. So let me give you guys another example of that. So I used it right here, and by the time it activates or finishes, I go back to that spot that I initiated it. So the second one is Tsukuyomi, and honestly this is way better than the first Genjutsu from the first Akuma in my opinion, due to the fact that it lasts longer and I think it does more damage, but it lasts quite a bit longer than the first Akuma, and that makes a huge difference. When this cast on you, you get put in this like room. You can move around, but you can't really like do anything. Like you can't do moves or anything like that. So it makes you susceptible to getting comboed in that. So the third move, Amaterasu. Obviously, you guys have seen this a lot. It's really good damage, really good for combo extensions, mid combos, combo starters, whatever you want. I mean, it's just Amaterasu. Huge damage, good output. This is honestly is probably one of the best Akumas in my opinion, but let's go into the next one. Alright guys, so the third one is Forged Akuma, or Obito Sharingan. And this one, I'm not really too impressed with this one. This one's not really good for PvP, but it is definitely one of the most versatile. It's really good for transportation. It's also really good for stealing scrolls, which is really annoying if you're one of those users. Honestly, I hate you. I'm joking. But same thing as Itachi pretty much. C2, you get the Susanoo skeleton, and then you get the Susanoo combat. C3, half Susanoo. And again, if I were to try to go to C4, it would be Spirit, but I don't have that. You can see the combat right there. Let's get into the Q spec. It's just a Kamui attack, nothing really too special. It does decent damage, but let's get into the C spec. This is what I meant by it's a good transportation. So you go into this dimension and your walk speed or your run speed gets increased by a lot. However, it does take stamina to be in here, but nobody can attack you while you're in this realm, and this is why it makes it really good to steal scrolls. You know, let's say you're on a Ninetales boss, you're doing nothing, right before it gets killed, you go into this mode, get out of it, as soon as the scrolls spawn, yoink them, and bam, you get away with it. So, let's get into the first move. The first move puts them into a realm. It's basically sucking them into Kamui, and they can't move, and it lasts, I think, a couple seconds. The first two moves are pretty much the same thing, by the way. Except the second one actually does more damage. This is pretty good, and it's honestly really annoying in PvP. And I wouldn't say it's like the best for damage in PvP, but you can definitely use this in a lot of ways in PvP. However, I just don't think it's as good as Itachi is. Especially since this isn't really like a damage dealing Akuma. This is definitely more of like a utility and kind of support kind of role. The damage in this one's not very high, but let's get to the third move. The third move makes you intangible. This is probably the best auto dodge in the game, in my opinion. That's obviously subjective because it uses stamina, but you cannot be hit while you have this activated. This is pretty decent. You can't really do anything while you're like this. You can't trash Chaka, you can't hit or anything like that. But I mean, it gives you a chance to reposition and kind of just, you know, heal up. I think you can heal up while you're in this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Obito. Honestly, probably the most lackluster Mangekyo Sharingan in this game. At this point, even the regular Akuma might be better than this. But like I said, it's all subjective. You can really make any bloodline good in this game. But let's hop right into the next one, guys. Alright guys, for this one, I had someone else show me the footage of Shisui because I don't have Shisui. So I'll put that clip right here, and then after that, I'll showcase the next one. Alright guys, so that little clip of him showcasing the moves of Shisui, I had to do that because I personally don't have Shisui and I wanted to get this video out for you guys. So I just had him showcase all 3 moves. Just a note on that, the first move, it summons a bunch of shadow clones and they attack you. The second move, it's an auto dodge / counter. If you try to hit him, he'll teleport behind you. And the third move, well, I'm sure you guys have seen that move a lot. It's honestly broken. So basically, it's Kodo Amatsukami. You cast it on someone and it deals massive damage. Honestly, Shisui is arguably the best out of all of the Akumas. Next to Itachi, people go back and forth deciding on which could be better, but like I said, it's all subjective at that point. One's good for one thing and the other's good for another thing. But let's hop into the last one, which is the newest one on this list. Okay guys, I'm really excited for this one. Now I know I already showcased this in my last video, but this is just for the sake of the tier list. It is Sasuke's Akuma, or Raion Akuma. Now this is probably my favorite one in the game. That doesn't mean it's the best in the game, but I personally just like it. As you guys can see, C3, he's holding the bow, he's holding the arrow. Now this Akuma, so far from what I've noticed, I've done a little bit of experimenting with this. I took it in PvP, I tried crafting some combos with it, and I mean, it's interesting. Its damage is probably the best out of all of the Akumas damage wise, but that's about it. And the second move, what I've noticed is the second move is pretty garbage. Don't even use the second move, honestly. Not to say you can't find a way to use it, but I don't know, I just don't think it's really that good. So let's get into the Q spec to start off with. Just a simple Amaterasu. This one does not really do that much damage though, but nevertheless it's pretty good. C spec, it's an arrow, 39k damage, pretty decent, has decent spread to it as well. So let's get into the first move. This first move, it's a counter. So you become intangible while it's activated, and if someone were to try to hit you, you would teleport behind them and summon Amaterasu on them. It's pretty good, to be honest. I really like using it in PvP. It's saved my butt a bunch of times while using it, so I can honestly say it's pretty good. When I first got this, I thought it wasn't as good as it was until I took it in PvP, so my opinion has changed on that. However, it's not really good. The damage is decent if you can land it, but that's the problem, if you can land it. It's not a very good move. It doesn't increase your speed that much, to be honest. Now the only good thing about it is it has instant cast, so if you were to hit something like this, you could instantly do it, and then you get that hit, right? So it's possibly good for something like that. That's not to say you can't find a way to use it, but I just think that the second move is definitely the worst out of the 3. Now the third move is basically the same as the C spec. You just shoot an Amaterasu arrow and it hits multiple targets, does pretty decent damage. I think it does around the same damage as the C spec. Never mind, does quite a bit more. But regardless, it's hard to actually gauge this Akuma just yet. However, I will, just for the sake of the video, give it a spot on the tier list. But with that said, this is my favorite Akuma. I will probably be maining this one and using it in PvP quite a bit and try to find some combos to use with it. But that's all today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will show you guys the tier list in a second. Alright guys, now to the final part of this video, the tier list. And I'm going to explain my placements and everything, kind of like my thought process and everything. So starting off, we're going to go with why I put Forged Akuma in B tier. I think it has the least to offer out of all of these. Obviously it has a lot of potential for stealing stuff. If you want to steal scrolls, this is definitely the Akuma to go for, as well as transportation. If you're doing quests, definitely go for this one. It's the fastest. But in terms of PvP, I just don't think it's really that good in PvP. I have gotten smacked by it a couple times, but as I said in the beginning of the video, I think any bloodline could be good. But I just think the other bloodlines have more to offer. Now, I put Sasuke's in A tier because of the simple fact that we haven't had it around that much. We don't really know what it's capable of. No one's really come up with like any extensive combos with it yet. So I think it has potential. I wasn't going to put it in B tier. I think it's a lot better than that. So I put it in A tier along with the regular Akuma, which is another controversial pick. Now, the reason I put a regular Akuma in A tier, and this is not ordered by the way, I don't think regular Akuma is better than Sasuke. Ever since regular Akuma got the samurai update, I definitely think that does give it a little bit more to offer. It has a decent genjutsu, it has a decent auto dodge. I think it's better than Forged Akuma. I think it has better damage, obviously, so I think it just has more to offer. Now onto the S tier. Obviously, Itachi and Shisui, undeniably the best out of all of these. Itachi, it's kind of more of a defensive, if you ask me. Amaterasu is really good damage, however, but the Genjutsu is really good, and basically all three of Itachi's moves are really good, so you can't go wrong with Itachi. Shisui, same thing, has a really good auto dodge, really good teleportation or counter jutsu, and then obviously Kodo Matsukami is just broken, right? But like I said, this is not ordered. I don't think Itachi's better than Shisui, and I don't think Shisui's better than Itachi. I think they're kind of like tied. They're all good. They're all good for their own things. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for you guys, and that's all. Peace.